So I have some questions made for the interview. So first of all, what do you think of the polemic statements that Donald Trump has made about immigration, like on his Twitter account or on public announcements?
They're very incorrect and ignorant because he only views it like what he thinks. He doesn't really put research into it. So he's trying to do that to get attention from a lot of Americans who don't keep up with the immigration, and they view him as like some sort of a leader who knows, and he's trying to do it for publicity.
Okay, so do you believe like it's like a strategy to win followers?
Yeah,
Okay,
but not all the followers, like a very few, like not a lot.
okay. So like um, right now, according to the polls, he's like losing kind of votes. Are you in favor or against like his perspectives?
Wait, can you repeat that question?
Oh, that if you're in favor or against Donald Trump's perspectives.
Against it
Oh,
because he wants to build a wall across the border, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And he wants to deport a lot of Mexicans from America, but they're a good part of the economy, and that's the reason the economy is running so well. So it's kind of against his perspective.
okay. Um, Next question. If you could vote, would you consider yourself a Republican or a Democrat and why?
A Republican because Ben Carson has some good plans to run the country.
So I guess that you're like, if you could vote, you will vote for Ben Carson.
Yeah.
What do you like the most about Ben Carson?
He's like a good person. He's like made a lot of differences in society, and he's like he's more like open than Donald Trump. 'Cause Donald Trump's just like bashing people. He's like Donald, whereas Ben Carson is looking more towards the future and not just focusing on like the problems. Like Donald Trump, he's focusing on how to fix it.
Okay, that's a very good point of view. I haven't thought of it like that. So, do you believe immigrants help or harm the United States economy?
This could go either way. Like there are immigrants who like work for a better opportunity as like hard labor. They like boost the economy. Well, there's also immigrants that come over. They can't get a job, and they came over illegally with their family, and they have to sign up for welfare, and it can hurt. It can hurt the government, but the immigrants that work hard really do boost the economy.
Okay. Do you know any immigrant? If yes, do you know their struggles or if they have struggles?
Oh yeah, and an immigrant came into our class to talk about this. So she was saying how when she came over, she experienced a lot of racism from the Americans, like uh, a couple years ago when she first came, and then when she was raising her kids, they experienced racism against them, and she was telling us how she had to work a lot harder to prove herself in society. It's like being worthy of respect and stuff like that.
Yeah, just curious. I don't know if it's like a very personal question, but what perspective do you have about Mexico?
Like immigration wise, or
Like in general, like the first thing that pops in your head when they say Mexico.
I think of like someone from Mexico. Like, do you mean like Mexican American or just like Mexican?
Just Mexican.
I just like think of I don't know, some middle class worker in the city.
Okay. Um, have you wondered what will happen if Donald Trump will win?
the government, the United States will go into more debt, and if a lot of immigrants do get deported, the economy will drop, and he may get impeached for doing something stupid. But yeah.
Okay. Um, well, we have talked about like the male candidates, but there are two very important female candidates going as well for the White House. So, do you believe the White House is ready for a female president?
Yeah, because our president right now is an African American president, which is huge because our first African American president. If there's a female president, it'd be like a milestone in history. And Hillary Clinton does have some good points to run the country. And her husband was president, so I do think their White House is ready.
Okay. Hillary Clinton has talked several times on her support of abortion legislation. Do you support this position?
Yeah, could you say that a little louder?
Oh, Hillary Clinton has talked several times on her support of abortion legislation. Do you support this position or are you against it?
I support it.
Okay. Um, According to, getting back to Ben Carson, he said he believes a Muslim president is not compatible with the U.S. Constitution. Do you think this is an ignorant statement?
Um, I don't a little bit because I don't think they're uncomfortable with the Constitution. I just think they're uncomfortable with how they're portrayed in society. Because there's a lot of people who are they just like turn on the news and just hear part of the story and then they discriminate against the Muslims, but in reality it's just the radicals that are terrorists.
Yeah, extremist point of view.
Yeah.
Okay. On the immigration reform, do you think the United States should implement more open borders or closed borders?
They should implement a little bit more closed border. They should make it a lot stricter because the a good portion of the debt is due to illegal immigration. So the U.S. is putting a lot of money in to provide for some of the immigrants that come over freely and aren't qualified to be there, and they get welfare support and they get a sustained life.
Okay. Um, well, would you be worried about the fact that Ben Carson is deeply religious Seventh-day Adventist?
I'm sorry, what was that?
But Ben Carson is a very religious person. He's a Seventh-day Adventist. So if he would win, would you be concerned about this fact? Like he could be kind of extremist, or like it's I don't know, like it wouldn't affect his presidency.
I don't think it would affect his presidency because he has a staff and he's gonna make a lot of decisions based off data. I don't think he'd make base his decisions off of purely religion. I'm pretty sure it'll play like a minor part in his decision, but I think it'll be purely from his staff and factual data. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Like in general, how could you like do a very brief summary of the like what's happening right now in the United States with the elections?
So Donald Trump at first in mid the late summer, he was saying a lot of remarks against how to build a wall and why it's good and illegal immigration and all that, and um, that got a lot of attention from a lot of Americans. So he was in the polls first, and then Ben Carson became second for his status in society. But as the debates progressed, Donald Trump only kept repeating the same points of how he's going to build a wall. He didn't really have any other claims or evidence to how he was going to make this country better, but he claims he'll make America great again. So he couldn't really support his statement. So he dropped in the polls, and then Hillary Clinton is top in the polls because she's a woman, and it's gonna be a milestone in history if she becomes president.
Okay. Well, that's all for me.
Okay, we can
Okay.
talk in Spanish.
Yeah.
I just wrote down some like general questions. So, ¿cómo equilibra el programa de BI y las actividades extracurriculares?
Eh, Tengo que organizarme mucho porque si no, no voy a poder lograr cumplir con todas las tareas. ¿Entendiste?
Yo organizar las tareas en el notebook y organizar las notas uh, en mi laptop con los programas.